Today we'll be tackling Chapter 8, Working with Your Beliefs.
This chapter is really the heart of the book in a lot of ways. It gets to the core of what it takes to be a consistently successful trader.
Right, because it's not just about having a winning strategy, it's about having the right mindset.
Exactly. And that's where those 5 fundamental truths about the market come into play. Remember those from Chapter 7?
Yeah, Douglas kind of lays them out again at the beginning of Chapter 8. Do you think that's just a refresher for us, or is there something more to it?
I think it's more than a refresher. It's like he's saying, okay, you've learned these truths intellectually, but now you need to really internalize them.
So they need to become part of how we actually think and feel about the market, not just something we know in our heads.
Exactly. He wants us to weave those truths into the fabric of our trading mindset. And then he throws in this curveball about the paradox of trading.
The paradox?
Yeah, you know how we look for patterns and consistency in the market, but at the same time, every situation is unique.
Right, because even if a pattern repeats itself, the traders who are creating that pattern are different each time.
Exactly. It's this constant tension between our desire for certainty and the market's inherent unpredictability.
And our brains are wired to seek out patterns. We want to believe there's a formula, a surefire way to predict what's going to happen next.
Yeah, we crave that sense of order and control, but the market doesn't always play by our rules.
To illustrate this point, Douglas uses that analogy of the boy and the dog. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, the boy who has that terrifying experience with the dog, and then from that moment on, he's afraid of all dogs, even the friendly ones.
Right. Even if a dog is wagging its tail and wants to play, he's convinced it's dangerous because of that one bad experience.
It's a powerful analogy because it shows how our past experiences can create these deep-seated beliefs that color our perception of the market.
It's like those beliefs become filters that shape how we see things, even if those beliefs aren't accurate.
Exactly. And those beliefs often operate beneath our conscious awareness, which makes them even more insidious.
So how do we start to uncover those hidden beliefs? How do we make sure they're not sabotaging our trading decisions?
That's a great question, and that's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive. We'll uncover Douglas's strategies for identifying those limiting beliefs, challenging them, and ultimately replacing them with a mindset that supports consistent trading success.
That's what I want to hear. Stay tuned as we continue our exploration of trading in the zone and delve deeper into the power of beliefs in shaping our trading journey.
Welcome back, everyone. So last time we were talking about those hidden beliefs and how they can really mess with our trading. And the tricky thing is, we might not even know these beliefs are there.
Right. They're kind of lurking in the shadows, but they still have a huge impact on how we see the market and make decisions.
Exactly. So the first step is just bringing those beliefs into the light, becoming aware of them.
So it's like we're shining a spotlight on that hidden part of our minds and saying, okay, let's see what's going on in here.
Exactly. And once we can see those beliefs clearly, then we can start to understand why we react the way we do in certain trading situations.
Like why we get so freaked out when a trade goes against us, or why we hesitate to pull the trigger on a trade that looks perfect on paper.
Right. It's all about becoming more self-aware, understanding how our emotions and our past experiences are influencing our decisions in the present moment.
So it's not about becoming these emotionless robots. We don't want to shut down our feelings altogether.
No, not at all. Emotions are part of what makes us human, and they can actually be a valuable tool in trading.
But it's about recognizing which emotions are serving us and which ones are holding us back.
Exactly. And that's where Douglas introduces this concept of carefree objectivity.
Carefree objectivity. What does that even mean?
It's about finding that balance between being fully engaged in the market, taking risks, making decisions, but not being emotionally attached to the outcome.
So it's like being in the game, but not letting the game consume you.
Yeah. You're playing to win, but you're not letting the fear of losing paralyze you.
It sounds incredibly freeing to be able to act decisively, knowing that you've done your homework and you're comfortable with whatever the market throws your way.
It is freeing. And when you can operate from that place of detachment, you can see the market so much more clearly. You're not swayed by your hopes or your fears. You're simply observing, analyzing, and responding.
Okay, but I'm wondering, isn't there a danger of being too detached? I mean, don't we want to tap into our intuition sometimes?
That's a great question. And I think it's important to distinguish between suppressing emotions and becoming aware of them.
So it's not about ignoring our gut feelings, but it's about understanding where those feelings are coming from.
Right. And then making a conscious choice about whether to act on those feelings or not.
So we become the master of our emotions
Yeah.
rather than letting them master us.
Exactly. And that's what allows you to trade in the now moment, another key idea that Douglas emphasizes.
Trading in the now moment.
It means approaching each trade with a fresh perspective, unburdened by the baggage of past wins or losses.
So like each trade is a brand new opportunity, a blank slate.
Yes, you're fully present, focused on the current market conditions, and ready to respond accordingly.
It sounds almost Zen-like, being in the moment, letting go of the past and the future.
Yeah, there's definitely a meditative quality to it. And when you can tap into that sense of presence, you can actually access your intuition more effectively.
So it's not about ignoring our intuition. It's about creating the mental space for it to emerge.
Exactly. It's like clearing the static from a radio signal so you can hear the music clearly.
Okay, so let's bring this back to those 5 fundamental truths we talked about earlier. How do those truths support this idea of carefree objectivity and trading in the now moment?
Well, think about the first truth. Anything can happen. When you truly internalize that truth, you release the need to control or predict the outcome.
You surrender to the uncertainty of the market.
Exactly. And that surrender is actually what gives you more freedom.
And the second truth, you don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money.
Right. So you can stop trying to second guess the market and instead focus on identifying your edge.
And the third truth, the random distribution of wins and losses.
Yeah, that one helps you take the sting out of those inevitable setbacks. You realize that losses are just part of the game.
They don't mean you're a bad trader.
Exactly. And as long as your edge is valid, those losses are actually bringing you closer to your next win.
So when you put it all together, those 5 truths actually lay the foundation for a more objective and carefree trading mindset.
Exactly. It's like they provide the scaffolding for building a mindset that aligns with the market's true nature.
And that alignment is what allows us to trade more effectively.
Right. We stop fighting the market and we start flowing with it.
So it's not about finding some magic formula. It's about aligning ourselves with the market's rhythms and flows.
That's a brilliant insight. And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive, how to move towards that state of being in the zone where we're trading with effortless precision and confidence.
That's what I'm talking about. We'll be back in a moment to delve into that final piece of the puzzle. Welcome back, everyone. So we've been talking about beliefs and emotions and those 5 fundamental truths. But now I want to get to the good stuff. How do we actually reach that state of being in the zone where our trading just flows effortlessly?
You're hitting the nail on the head. That's exactly what Douglas tackles in the last part of this chapter, moving toward the zone.
So he actually gives us some clues on how to get there.
He does. He talks about tapping into this now moment opportunity flow. It's like you're not forcing anything. You're just riding the waves of the market.
It sounds kind of mystical, almost like reaching a higher level of consciousness.
I know what you mean. But it's not about detaching from reality. It's actually about becoming more connected to the market.
Okay, but how do we actually get to that point? How do we make it happen?
Well, Douglas says it starts with completely accepting those 5 psychological realities of the market.
Those 5 fundamental truths we've been talking about.
Exactly. It's like when we truly internalize those truths, something shifts inside us. We stop fighting the market's uncertainty and we start to embrace it.
And that's when the magic happens.
You could say that. It's like we take off a blindfold and finally see the market clearly for what it is, this dynamic, ever-changing flow of opportunities and risks.
So by accepting the risk, we actually become less afraid of it.
In a way, yeah. When we stop resisting the uncertainty, our minds open up to all the possibilities.
That's like we're not limited by our fears and biases anymore.
Right. We're free to observe, analyze, and respond without all that mental baggage weighing us down.
And that's when we can really start to tap into our intuition.
Exactly. We're not overthinking. We're not second-guessing ourselves. We're just flowing with the market, responding to each moment as it comes.
It sounds like a state of pure, effortless action.
It really does. And while it might seem like this elusive goal, Douglas believes it's achievable for any trader who's willing to put in the work.
So it's not some mystical gift that only a few traders are born with.
No, not at all. It's about self-awareness, challenging your limiting beliefs, and developing those mental skills we've been discussing.
So consistent success in trading is a journey of self-mastery.
Beautifully put. It's about embracing the process, learning from your mistakes, and constantly refining your mindset and approach.
I love that. It's not just about making money. It's about becoming a better trader and a better version of ourselves.
That's exactly what I took away from this book. It's about recognizing that trading is a reflection of our inner world, our beliefs, fears, and aspirations. And by working on ourselves, we can transform our trading experience.
This has been such an insightful deep dive into Chapter 8. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us.
It's been a pleasure. Always a great time exploring these ideas with you.
And to all our listeners out there, remember that consistent success in trading is a journey. Be patient, stay committed, and never stop learning and growing. And if you ever find yourself struggling, just come back to these 5 fundamental truths and let them guide you back to that place of empowerment. Until next time, happy trading, everyone.